And it says I'm live, and there's always that lag time, but it looks live to me. And I'm just going to wait here for some of my adoring fans to start pouring in. Let's see. I should start running a book on who the first person each show is going to be, and there should be a prize involved. But the prize, of course, is you get to spend more time with old Thresh. And look who's here. It's Tug, the unapologetic geek. Hey, Tug, how's it going? Gary Carpenter says, I'm here. Emily Miller's here. It says, good evening, y'all. Emily, I shared that post you gave about the articles of clothing, discussing their uh, trauma. I passed it forward. I felt that was a very important piece. Not to start with anything negative or sad, but I felt that one needed to be shared, so I forwarded it on my Facebook page. And welcome to the party. My lady Tracy, Fractured History and More says, Hiya, Tracy, thank you for the high kudos and welcome to the party. Oh, look who's here, Tom the Hungry Jerk. Not off, on break, or just playing a little hooky to come in and say hi. Either way, great to have you. And Lance is here and says, Hiya, Thrash. So good to see you guys here, and welcome to my favorite finales episode of Thrash Pondopon's Power Hour. Gary Carpenter says, Happy Halloween, everyone, and a happy Ween of the Hallows to you as well. I too consider October to be Halloween Fest, not simply the 31st as the one Halloween day. If December can be the Christmas season, October can be the Halloween season. And oh, Tom got today off. Very glad you got the day off, and I'm glad you decided to share it with us. Tug says, Emily, I saw that meme about you all. And you all is obviously grammatically incorrect. It's y'all or nothing. I'm under the impression that both can be used. It's a generational thing. The grandparents said y'all, but the future generation said you all. And Emily says, damn Skippy Tug. Yes, it's Jiff or nothing. Sean Ennis is here. Says, hey, folks, Emily, you're early. What do you mean? Says, hello, everyone. Tug is saying hello to everyone individually. Tom says, saw Elvira on the big screen last night. That is so cool. Cool squared. I'm going to skip down to make sure because I'm starting to lose track already. Emily Miller says, I had my phone in front of me. Sean, I'm actually going to stay caught up. When it gets really close to the top of the screen, I'm afraid I'm going to lose track of everybody's comments, and I don't want anybody to feel slighted. Darrell Johnson's here. He says, Bob, other brother Daryl, how you doing? And a lot of people saying hello to Daryl. Daryl saying hello to everybody else. Tug says, beat up that like button, y'all. I always thought a yawl was a yacht that did not possess a motor, but I could be wrong. And a ketch, not a catch. A ketch is a fishing vessel, a sailing fishing vessel. Cape Cod, you got to know these things. Gary Carter says my favorite season ending was MASH. That actually made it tonight's trivia game. Tonight's trivia game is going to be related to famous finales. Emily says trying to find money for breaks. I have someone to install them. That's funny. Usually you get the parts first and then find somebody to put them in. You need money for the parts and then you already have the person to install. Good luck. Are you still doing the DoorDash thing? Because you really need a good set of brakes for that, miss. Lynn says, smash the like button. Zuperlix is here. He says, good evening. Zuper, I got to tell you, I love those commercials you've been sending me. My particular favorite is the James Mason commercial for Thunderbird wine. I thought that one was particularly poignant and entertaining. Let's just see. Emily says that's y'all. Y'all. Oh, y'all, Thrash. Yes, that boat is a y'all. Very good. Thank you for playing. Emily says I can't drive. No. Oh, so it's not a question of the brakes are starting to go and they need to be looked at a future time. You mean you got no brakes? Yeah, I wouldn't drive like that. Retro Nerd Girl, she says hello, Thrash Pondo Pawns, and hello to you too. Great to see you. It's always so wonderful seeing. I feel so bad I can't make more of your posts. Working crazy shifts, playing Pops as taxi service for my granddaughter's parent drop off and pickup. I wish I could be at more of your shows, but I watch as many of them as I can in replay. RNG, so glad that you're here. And when we see Daily Dan, he promised me he'd be here. He shares his time on Sundays between me and another young lady. Not another YouTuber who happens to be a young lady on Sunday. So he kind of goes back and forth. But you'll have to start putting in links at my bequest. And Dan is here, says I'm here. And Dan, the breaking news man, is here. It's so great to see you. Carrie Cumber says I decorated for the holidays. Yes, pumpkins galore. A lot of people. Little Jim says I'm the only like. Really, folks? Oh, I'm sure more people have liked. Skip Director Girl is saying hello to Lance, Sean, and Tug. Yeah, a lot of people having fellowship. You guys were very like having a mutual admiration society for a second. The screen actually jumped with everybody saying hello to each other. Oh, by the way, have any of you or all of you or some of you seen my recent post for the short horror film Alone? If you don't want to know how it ends, now's a good time to get a bottle of soda like this orange. Oh, I'm drinking Mrs. Thrashes, it's the diet. Oh well, she'll forgive me. But Alone Time, Dan, you asked what the ending actually implied. Well, this poor girl who's been very put out by her urban living and just wants some time away from the pressures of the city and the creeps therein, spends some time in this beautiful, idyllic, mountainous area. And much like Brian Aldiss did in Greybeard, the city have these very abrasive, oppressive, dark grays and not nice colors, but oh, the woods are these beautiful pastoral colors. She's having a wonderful time in this sort of, you know, Winslow Homer painting. And when she goes home and has the photos developed, someone somehow, which we've never seen, she didn't even know there was another person for miles, went into her camp, snuck into her tent, got her camera, and took photos of her while she slept. And that's just what he made sure she found out. He did that on purpose so she'd be like, we don't know what other shenanigans he did. And it's really the story about how women really have no peace in our society. And somehow, even when they can get away from anybody, that's worse somehow because the predators now feel they can act with impunity. That story, there was a similar story, and I just want to share this real quick. It's perfect for the Halloween season. A girl I went to college with, lovely girl, very, very good friend of mine. Friend, I have to make that clear, friend. But anyway, my college used to do winter study trips. I went one to Italy, where I studied Renaissance art and architecture. She went someplace cool. I can't remember where. It was someplace in the Caribbean. She wanted to go someplace warm. While she was there, she and her like 5 or 6 people she was sharing a room with. They had a ground floor apartment. They went suite of rooms. Went to sleep one night. When they woke up, someone had pushed their window open, snuck in, and stolen all their stuff, all their valuables, all their jewelry, all their money, all their everything. While they slept, they woke up to find while they were sleeping, everything was taken. And the really scary thing is the cop said, "You're very fortunate. There were so many of you in the room. If it was 1 or 2 of you, they probably wouldn't have ended with stealing stuff. They would have done unspeakable things and probably killed you afterwards. So you were very fortunate." And I'm like, she's telling me the story. I'm like, gee, you don't see these things in the travel brochures now, do you? But anyway, that's the meaning behind Alone Time, and I hope I clarified that for you, Dan. I just felt like that would work much better if I were to do it verbally. Oh, there he is right there. Oh, he said, please explain it. I'm gonna just backtrack just a little bit because I think I've gotten a little bit behind. I think I've passed the part where Indy Spouts is here and says, and so it begins. It certainly does. Emma Miller says my mailbox has Pennywise on it. Ill. Tug says that's frustrating. M, how are you supposed to get money for brakes if you can't drive anywhere because you have no brakes? That's an incredibly valid question. Dan says yes, please explain it. And Emma says, actually, exactly, Tug. Oh, and Roy Kenner is back. Hello, Roy. So nice you're back with us again. Roy Kenner is here and says, I guess you drive uphill to a mechanic. Oh, I'm guessing you don't have AAA. I have AAA. I just have my car towed. Fortunately, all the mechanics I use are within a fairly reasonable driving distance. Danny Staten says, greetings from South Carolina. Danny, and greetings to you. And do me a favor, I already have a list. Please send links for Tug, Wajameen, and Tracy. And a retro nerd girl. They're all here. They've all been keeping me company while we waited for you. Sorry I couldn't stay awake for more of your chat last night. It was late, dude. But I'm glad I was able to make it. Send the links to your channels as well, please. Tab is here. Terrell Eugene Bellinger says, greetings from the city of brotherly love. Philadelphia. Took me a second, but I remembered it. And let's see what else we could go down. Lance Chafin says, he says, I just jumped again. Hang on a second. Here we are. Says, I'm next with Dave's 5 questions on Tuesday, I think, and we're all looking forward to it. Emily says, that's why I don't go camping. You know, I never thought of it that way. But Douglas Adams said it best, by the way, when he said people are the problem. You live in an urban area where the person standing next to you could be some type of predator. But if you go into the woods where there are no people, then you have no other humans to sort of keep the other humans in check. So the person you run into could be a Jason Voorhees or Mike Myers. You really don't know. At least with other people around, you run the risk that someone might jump to your defense. Maybe. I always go back to that scene in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, where he's like, people, real people. But yeah, sometimes they're the true monsters. But that's a topic for another show. Tug says, not much, Lance. I changed up my office. I was supposed to have a new desk delivered last week, but FedEx just says delayed. So it's good we didn't stream today. Would have been rough. It's good that we postponed. Keep us posted. Gary Carpenter says, I haven't been camping in ages. Me neither. My back and it was fun when I was younger. Nowadays, Tug says, that's awesome, Lance. I'll tune in for that for sure. Emily says, well, that and bugs and no indoor plumbing and outside. Yeah, that the roughing it seems fun when you're like very young, but now it's just like you. Lance says, I'm so sorry. Hope things get better soon. Very kind of you. Tug says, I'm fine. I'm using my plano bench as a makeshift bench. Holding the mouse is a pain, though. Ooh, yeah, I can see how that would be. Yes. I use my kitchen table. We never dine as a family. We do most of our dining in the living room. Zuplik says, "What kind of house do you like to live in without plumbing?" Oh, I'm sorry. What kind of house do you live in without plumbing? A cottage. Danny says hello to all. A lot of people saying hi to Danny. Dan says, thank you for the explanation. You're quite welcome. Yeah, like it was a slow burn. So there was a reveal, but the reveal wasn't kablamo. Tug says, I like camping when there's a cabin with electricity and running water. I guess that's not really camping, though. Well, it depends how remote the cabin is, I suppose. Emily says, "Man, don't fully understand what women do just to just to stay. I'll come in again, just to stay safe, or at least try." my Mrs. Thrash has read me some of her TikToks explain what women go through, and it makes me so. I wish I could like find these guys and just sort of and I don't want to start ranting on YouTube. You start getting all kinds of trouble when you do that. But it's a pretty safe bet what I like to do to some of these men who victimize women and children, and you know what? Even other men. I don't like bullies. Never have. I was on the wrong side of them when I was a kid. Don't like them now. Indy's Boat says to Tug, if it's the Resolute desk you're waiting for, the good stuff has already gone. Well, that's not very encouraging. Gary Carpenter just jumped off the page, so I'm going to go back here and see if I can find it. I'm a little farther behind than I thought, but I'm going to try to catch up. Gary says, I was watching the show Top 5 about Ed and Lorraine Warren Museum when Thrasher started his show. How was it? Shana says, we all float in the mailbox too, Emily. Pennywise reference. Tugs, yeah, Nick Cage already got into that desk. And Lynn says, yep, Emily, it's tough for you girls out there. Dan has started dropping his links. Thank you very much. Emily says, I could camp like that, Tug, as long as I had cell service. Once you have cell service, it's not camping. It's only camping if you can get away from the world. And then she goes on to say, Sean, I'm thinking of making a balloon to attach to it that will be weatherproof. And let's see, we get going on here. Sean says, nice to Emily. Gary Carpenter says, be careful where you camp. Some places have no cell service. It's getting fewer and fewer, though. Darrell John says, don't expect anyone to help you. You're right. But it's a psychological advantage. You're right. Most people wouldn't help. We all know the story of Kitty Genovese. You have to get her name right. Kitty Genovese. Most bystanders won't help. However, attackers don't like to attack when there's witnesses around. So it may bleed. I can't talk tonight. I think I'm coming down with something. My throat's getting a little scratchy. But I think it's just the idea that you are less likely to be the victim of a random act of violence if there's other people watching. I wouldn't expect those other people to help. I'll be honest with you. Even though I'm sort of in train wreck shape right now, I'd help. It's the romantic in me. I don't know. But Daryl, you're bringing up an excellent point, and thank you. Tug says the bystander effect is a real thing, though. You could be surrounded by people who all think somebody else will step up. Yeah, yeah. That could certainly be a case as well. Indy's Belt says Daryl Johnson just asked Kitty Genovese. Wow, Tug and Indy, you guys are on point. You guys saw into my mind before I could even see his comment. Very proud of you. Danny says, my daughter and her husband are camping this week at the Wrong Turn filming location. That's crazy, man. Wow, that's just crazy. Lynn says, I watched Howard Hawks, The Thing. Not too bad. Emily says, Gary, I've never been camping and never will. Really? Even when you were a kid? In those beautiful foothills of the Carolinas, you never went camping? That's too bad. Gary Garber says, Indy, you know her killer died in prison. But the crazy thing is 5 years later, almost to the day, another woman was victimized and killed literally in the very spot. And some of the witnesses who again did nothing were some of the ones that were present during the Kitty Genovese attack. But of course, these are New Yorkers. Brogu is here. Brogu says, hello, everyone. Brogu is here. And Emily says, that sounds fun. Dan, a lot of people saying hello to Brogu. My vlog is everywhere. Oh my God, Sarah. So glad you're here. Says hi, everyone. Hi to you, Sarah. So glad you could make it. Indy Spell says, poor Christian, nobody likes him, loves him. Gary Carpenter says, it can be fun. It depends on where you go. That's a very good point. But if you don't like being outdoors, you don't like being outdoors. As I say, I'm going to scroll carefully. I just leap off the page. I stop with Daryl, so I'm going to just grab Daryl back here. He says, hi to my flock. Roy Kenner says, even the seaside restaurant in the Goonies had a freezer, kitchen, and bathroom. Excellent point. I'm going to skip down because I think I'm almost caught up. Teb says, have you and Mrs. Thrash ever visited a real-life murder site? Murder site, no. No. When we were in London, we did a Haunted London, and they took us to places where there were a lot of shenanigans, but never been to an actual murder site, unless you count the National Seashore. There was the Woman of the Dunes, who they finally closed the case on with that poor woman. It, in fact, was the husband, which everybody pretty much knew, but again, it was still an ongoing investigation. Tug says, Thrash, I'm going to keep up with the comments tonight. I certainly am. Tom says, I visited the Zodiac Killer site in Vallejo, California. Just watching a show about him last night. Who do you think the Zodiac Killer was, by the way? Emily says, Tom, I was in Vallejo 54 years ago. You were a toddler. Len says, I love San Andreas with The Rock. Emmy Miller says, nothing, just jumped off the page. Tom, my son went out to visit her sister. My mom went out to visit her sister when I was but a babe. And Tug says, Indy is always on the point. I just get things right twice a day. Tom says, Donnie and Marie also were at the Zodiac murder scene for a walkathon. That's crazy. Gary Carpenter says, last night on Svengoolie, he had a movie trilogy of terror. I refuse to watch it. That ugly warrior doll. Oh, the Zuni fetish. Yeah, that freaked me out when I first saw that movie when I was like 12. That movie freaked me out. It's one of my favorites, though. Karen Black, it's a trilogy. She plays 4 parts. Amazeballs. You gotta give her that. But if you haven't seen it, I kind of understand, you know. Emily says, I'm just not camping, fishing, or hunting kind of gal. Liz Javin says, Tug, what about Hell Night? I own it. Denny says hi to Sarah. A lot of people saying hi to Brogu. I'm just gonna. Jenny's giving us another link. Tracy says I wasn't to stay at the Cecil Hotel in California. Danny says I thought the stream was about Friday the 13th, the final chapter. LOL. I know we're supposed to be talking about season finales, and we're talking about the ultimate finales. But you know what? It was more of a the Queen Mary is haunted. I'm sure it is. So you know what? Let's talk about whichever. If you guys want to talk about serial killers or hauntings, I love talking about that. If you want to talk about series finales, we can talk about series finales. Anybody have any other series finales they want to mention? One of the ones that I actually love, and it's funny because this is a twofer. A lot of people never think about foreign TV show finales, and I'm sure they had some amazing ones too. And I was thinking also ones that most people never even think of, and I came up with a twofer on that one. The Speed Racer series finale, where you find out that his brother. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know the ending, go la 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 la. Speed's brother is Racer X. And let's see. Tug, I actually refer to that one, by the way. So, let's just see. My Flex says, hi, Dan. Sorry I missed you last night. Fell asleep waiting on internet to come on. Oh, wow. Oh, Tracy says she's staying in the Queen married too. That's crazy. Oh, Sarah's back. Teb says, the Seinfeld finale left many fans divided and still left many fans divided 25 years after it airs. I liked it. I actually liked it. I mean, I can see why people wouldn't like it, but I thought it was very fitting, and I loved how it was put together. And they got so many people back for it. I mean, that in of itself made it worth it. Tug says, I'll join the seance. And I have some great seance stories for Halloween, but we're going to keep those for getting closer to Halloween. Emily says, Newhart was my absolute favorite finale. Yeah, you mentioned that. The one set in Vermont. Yes, they actually do a spoof of that for Breaking Bad, too. Dana Skin says, yeah, let me mention how much I love Lost, the TV series, and how blah, bad the series finale was. Well, they lied. They lied to us. They said that was not the case, and it was the case. And his bug says, is it true that Razor X changed his name to Razor Twitter? That is perfect. That Indy, I'm going to give you the Legion of Merit Award for tonight's show for that one. That is amazeballs. And yes, he did. Gary Gabbard says hauntings and series finales. We'll do, yeah, right, we'll do both. Roy Kenner says Family Ties had a different take than most, where all the characters greeted the audience out of character. Don't remember this happening anywhere else. Nor do I. Nor do I. Dennis Giddens says, that's okay. Most everyone missed the live. I lucked out. I happened to be up and I started channel surfing and I saw you were live and I'm like, damn. But I'm glad I could make it. Doug says, what about the Quantum Leap finale? I know trivia about it, but I don't want to step on the potential trivia questions. I didn't mention that one because, full disclosure, I didn't see the Quantum Leap series finale. Sorry. Maybe I should have. I definitely should have. Emily says, Tug, have you ever done a long distance seance? Is that a thing? Oh, Sarah says, Dan, I love you. That's very sweet. Sarah, you are awesome. You are awesome. Lynn says, Mash's finale was vert, teary eyed, very sad. Yes, it very was. Very was. Gary Gomber mentions Marilyn Taylor Moore. I actually used that one as well. Sarah says it's raining today and yesterday. It stopped raining today, but it was raining yesterday. Emily says, Tug, it sounds crazy, but it can be done as long as both places are quiet. Huh, that's crazy. Tug says, the Lost series finale actually fine, but the whole 6th season was nonsense. I'm still waiting for Ian to return so we can debate it. He posted something. He posted a one of his karaoke posts. So he's at least getting somewhat back into the game. Danny says, he's giving us another link. Thank you very much. And Brogu asks Retro Nergal how she's doing. Gary Cover says Retro Magna PI was a cliffhanger. I was waiting to find out that Master Robin was a woman. That I thought that was going to be a brilliant payoff, but they didn't go that direction. Teb says, in my humble opinion, the How I Met Your Mother finale, in which the mother died and Ted ended up with Robin, left so many fans polarizing. I never watched How I Met Your Mother, so I actually did not know that. But since I never watched the show, I don't feel you ruined it for me, Teb. But I got to tell you, that's certainly something of a twist. Certainly something of a twist. And I'll just see. I'm going to try to catch up here. Emily says the worst finales are other shows that get canceled before the end. Yeah, it happens a lot. Liz Javen says, is Ian ever returning? It's been months ago. Yeah, I believe I just spoke to that. I just hadn't seen your question. Sorry. Tracy says, I like The Sopranos, and that is the perfect ending for a gangster show. Perfect, in my opinion. A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was perfect. Dan says, joke time, number 2. I wish I had started getting gray hair in Las Vegas, because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Very, very good. Sarah says, thank you. Oh, Steve is here. He says, nice spectacles. Thanks to my wife's. But they actually work very, very well. So I'm going to keep wearing them. John P. Adventures is here. John, how you doing? So great to see you. Dan, would you be so kind as to give him a link? He's been posting some fairly slick little personal adventure videos as late. Check it out. He's got some good stuff. Welcome to the party. And I'm just going to catch up really quickly. Tom says Magnum was a show in high school. It was when I was in high school as well. Gary Gabbard says the Jeffersons were canceled. Yes, they certainly were. John says, hey to Thrash. Oh, and hey to you too, John. Yeah, on Gary Carpenter, on Alice Mills sold to the diner. Roy says some shows just continued. Knight Rider just had a regular episode. Voidoo Night then just ended. A lot of shows did that, where there's not a series finale; they just have a last episode. And Tug says the Quantum Leap finale is great and serves as a good ending. The irony is it wasn't supposed to be the finale. The show got canceled after it airs. Yeah, that happens a lot. In fact, I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Oh, look, Mike Silva's here. Mike Silva's here, and he says, "Oh, he's above the stage. Now he's going to fall in right at the end of the opera, but a bump." Zach McDonald, Mr. Zach, how you doing? Zach is here. Says, "How about the ending of Lost?" We were just speaking about that. I thought, that was a shenanigans. They told us that wasn't how it was going to end, and it was. They said that was not what the end is considered, and it was. And well, as Tug was saying, though, he says he never liked the whole sixth season. I'm just going to go through because I was a little far behind. Steve says David Jensen found the one-armed man. I make reference to that as well. Oh, thank you, Dan, for giving us another link. Thank you. Lance Chafin says, saying elsewhere, the kids, the whole thing was in the kid's mind. He saw the snow globe, and there was a hospital inside the snow globe, and so he imagined the entire St. Elsewhere universe. That actually was pretty freaky. I thought that was a pretty freaky ending myself. Actually, love the show, but it's kind of an odd way to end it. Oh, hang on. I think I'm almost caught up. I'm just gonna. Yes, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna race down here. Tim says, "Happy Days series finale was good, though some of the season 11 episodes that were filmed prior to that were burned off during the summer because the show had been canceled." Doug says, "Spoiler alert: the entire episode takes place on the holodeck of the Enterprise of the Next Generation Enterprise." A lot of people saying hello to one another. Roy's like that good times ending wouldn't have happened unless Thelma's boyfriend got a contract with the NFL. That's a very, very good point. That's a very good point. And actually, not. It looks like I'm caught up. Oh, this really says in the days when over-the-air broadcast networks dominated the airwaves, shows didn't have finales. That's a good point. That's a very good point. And Zach asked, Newhart did that dream twist too, right? They certainly did, but the twist had a twist. The whole thing was a dream, but he was dreaming about another show. He was still in Chicago as a therapist, but had a dream he owned an inn in Vermont. So the whole second series, in and of itself, was a dream. They actually do a joke about that in Breaking Bad. Zach, I know you're a Breaking Bad fan. They do a joke about that. Walt wakes up. He's actually back in the Malcolm in the Middle universe. And he's like, "Oh my God, it was horrible. I was a drug kingpin." And the wife, whose name eludes me, is like, "Oh, shut up and go to work. Yeah, you a drug kingpin." And the whole thing is like, he's been in Malcolm in the Middle the whole time, just dreaming of being a drug kingpin. But you know what? Before we dig ourselves in any deeper, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to start the trivia game, if that's okay with you guys. Yeah, Thrash, do the trivia game. Are you sure you want me to start the trivia game? Yeah, start the trivia game. Okay, I will start the trivia game. But as always, I will have to start in no particular order. Oh, one thing, we have a new guest has arrived. North Alabama cryptid Mr. and Mrs. Knack says, "Hey, Thrash, and everyone in the chat." And I'm just going to, for the purposes of abbreviation, I was going to call you North Alabama. North Alabama, welcome to the party. So nice to have you back as well. Thank you for joining us. You're just in time. Oh, and number one dude is also here. Says, "I'm ready, Thrash. You two are just in time." So I'm going to go ahead and gentlemen was like hearing strange voices. What else is new? So I'm going to start, as always, in no particular order, with number 10. Okay. In the inadvertently cliffhanger finale of Alf, Mr. Shumway does what? A. He's rescued by other surviving members of the Melmacian race. B. Is captured by the alien task force. C. Flees in the Pacific Northwest to become the world's smallest Bigfoot. Or D. Finally gets to eat Lucky. And I shall repeat. In the inadvertently cliffhanger episode of Alf, and yes, this is what we're referring to, that wasn't meant to be a series finale. It was meant to be picked up in the next season, but it got canceled over the summer. But in that last episode, Alf does what? Mr. Shumway, I should say, does what? He is A, rescued by his other surviving members of the Melmacian race. B, is captured by the alien task force. C, flees to the Pacific Northwest to become the world's smallest Bigfoot. Or D, finally gets to eat Lucky. And Zubalik said C. Oh, and Sarah says D. But virtually the rest of you who were trying to answer, ironically, got it. So, yes, the answer is, of course, B. He's captured by members of the alien task force. There's a tacit follow-up where he's basically been in prison there for like 20 years and it becomes like a fiction. I don't know. From what I understand, it's dumb. But moving forward, number 9. Cult satire sitcom Dinosaurs. The dinosaurs are wiped out by what? A, a comet. B, a flood. C, an ice age. Or D, global warming. And I shall repeat. In cult satire sitcom Dinosaurs, the dinos are wiped out by what? A, a comet. B, a flood. C, an ice age. Or D, global warming. Oh, and this time you guys are all over the place. Gary Carver says Dallas had JR shoot himself because of the devil. I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes, but I thought more people would know this. Well, I mean, and many of you do, but no, it wasn't a comet. Roy Kenner says Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton. I almost put Sam Neill as one of the selections. I almost put Sam Neill. So, Roy, I love how you think. And no, ironically, it was not global warming. Nor was it a biblical flood. YouTube, Superplex 11. It was actually an ice age. It's actually a very, very sad ending. Long story short, the We Say So Corporation mows down a swamp to build a factory, and they kill this beetle, which is very vital to the ecosystem. So they try to get the plants that it pollinates to grow better by putting explosive charges in volcanoes to create clouds because I think it'll cause more rain, and the increased rain will compensate. It sounds like something we would try. And long story short, the clouds cover up the sun, and they have a volcanic winter. And as it's getting colder and colder, they're explaining to the baby that things aren't going to get better, and it's actually very sad. I have it in my collection, and it actually you get a little verklempt when you watch it. But anyway, before I get too maudlin, moving on to number 8. Not the mama, Zach. Not the mama. Not the mama. And he says the end of the dinosaurs or the end. I'm sorry, I'll come again. The end of the dinosaurs or the thing, you decide. Huh, I will. Oh, JC's here. He says, who would win in a race? General Lee versus the A-Team van. General Lee. The A-Team van was great, more maneuverable, but in a race, I would have to give to the General Lee. And welcome to the party. Oh, and Ken Wilkinson's here. Greetings, Mr. Wilkinson. Nielsen's ended dinosaurs. They certainly did. Moving forward, number 8. In series finale of Hogan's Heroes, it is revealed that Clink is actually a what? A, an Allied agent whose mission was to give Hogan a free hand during his operations. B, the nephew of Hermann Goering. C, the ghost of Baron von Richthofen. Or D, absolutely nothing. I shall repeat. In series finales of Hogan's Heroes, it is revealed that Clink is what? A, an Allied agent whose mission it was to give Hogan a free hand in his operations. B, the nephew of Hermann Goering. C, the ghost of Baron von Richthofen. Or D, absolutely nothing. Dave's here. Oh my God, Dave, welcome, welcome. Oh, I see you even subscribed to my other channel, by the way. You won't see much content, but it was very, very nice of you to subscribe. Danny says, OMG. And it looks like, a transvestite. Well, Hermann Goering was. You guys all got this very, very good. Yes, absolutely nothing. There was a rumor for years. There was a rumor that in the final episode of Hogan's Heroes, there's like some scene where Hogan's spiking the ball and he goes, "Hey, all this stuff we were doing here, all these shenanigans, we pulled one over on you." And Clint goes, "No, you didn't. You didn't pull anything on me." And you find out he's actually an Allied agent, and he was actually faking his profound incompetence so as to give Hogan the free hand so he could complete all his operations. And even get to the point where when Clink was on his trail, that was a red herring because Burkhalter and others wouldn't listen to Clink because he was such an idiot. But that doesn't exist. Perfect though it would have been, absolutely amazing as it would have been, that does not exist. Roy says there was a rumor the temperature went above 40 in one episode. I believe it. Moving forward. But yeah, Clink was absolutely nothing because there was no final episode. Dan says, I see nothing. I hear nothing. Now, Schultz owned a toy factory. Hopefully it was still there. We never actually find out, but it was commandeered by the German military to make weapons. Oh, Mike Silva. Mike, how you doing, Mike Silva? So good to see you. Mike Silva's here. He says, Rusty Griswold, wow, Dad, we must have jumped that rail by like 50 yards. Clark Griswold, nothing to be proud of, son. Pause as Rusty walks away. Griswold, 50 yards. And moving forward. Oh, Gary Carver says, I see nothing except question 7. Moving on to question 7. What was the final word spoken in the series finale of MASH? A, what? B, where? C, when? D, why? I shall repeat. What was the final word spoken in series finale of MASH? A, what? B, where? C, when? D, why? For a second, I thought that was a V. And I go, no, they did not answer with the symbol for V from the series V, but it says Y. Okay, I see a couple of you guys have got it. Oh, Dan, I'll explain it in a minute, but you have to give more people chances to guess. David says potatoes. Okay. Emily says D, and a damn good question. Yeah, a lot of people think it's Y because that's all Alan Alda asked for the 12 years, 10 years, 11 years, whatever the show ran. No, it's not why. That was a red herring. In fact, I actually gave the answer away in the question when I said, what was the final word spoken in series finale of MASH? It was what? I told you the answer. What happens is Hawkeye's leaving in a helicopter. BJ says something to him. Hawkeye goes, what? And BJ just points to it. And when it goes up, he used the stones at the landing site to say goodbye. but the last word spoken is actually what? So it's A. Zublik says U for unemployment. David says not mashed potatoes. No, not oh, bing. Okay, that it just dawned on me. I got it. I got it. Sean says OMG Thrash. I know. Aren't I the worst? Myself not a fan of mash. So number one dude says, "What is the answer?" Yes. And Steve says, "BJ." And I'm just gonna. Gary Cameron says V was a cliffhanger, but a great show. Well, yeah, but then they well, it was. It's been so long since I watched them. I thought one actually answered the other, but the TV series was dreadful. Oh, the miniseries were good, but I hated it. The TV show was just weird. And Dan says, "Who's on first?" Exactly, exactly. And Zublik says, "Well, what is the answer?" Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. You got it. And then Dan says, "What?" Exactly. And Indy Spout says, "I don't know." He's on third. Boy, we have fun. But anyway, the answer is A. What? Oh my God, this is turning into a WWE show. My what name? What is what? Steve, what? You know what this is. Dan, you must remember that whole shtick. Number six. And after number six, we shall do scores. Number six. In the series finale of Cheers, Norm does what? Does he A, get a job, B, becomes a father, C, divorces Vera, or D, gets drunk? I shall repeat. In series finale of Cheers, Norm does what? A, gets a job, B, becomes a father, C rather, divorces Vera, or D, gets drunk. Oh, some of you got it. And thank you, Dan, for that link. Give you a few more minutes for a few more guesses. Just a few more seconds here. Divorces Vera. I knew at least one of you would say that. Number one dude says, "When will then be now?" When will then be now? Good question. When will then be now? I'm afraid it's too late. Steve says, passes gas. Jenny says, "Nope, blew my knee out of the place last night. Torture is my day." Oh, no, I'm saying you must remember when Steve Austin was in the WWE, there was that shtick where every time he would try to speak, the audience would go, "What?" after everything he said. My daughter was into it at that time. Roy says Norm had two other shows after that as well. Yeah, he was on Wings, wasn't he? And there was another show that was in the universe. But yeah, I know he did at least a couple episodes of Wings. Oh, anyway, the answer is A. Gets a job. He finally earned his permanent employment. However, tell you what I'm going to do. As I just watched the episode myself, well, at least the last scene of it, I will also accept gets drunk. So if you put D, give it to you. So let's have some scores. And Zoop, really? Zoop, 1 for 5? Well, that's 1 for 5. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, while we're getting scores, I want to have a few shout outs. House of Alex, I know you're out there somewhere. You'll probably be watching a replay, so howdy do. Baked Bean, Keith E. I'm not sure if you kind of like just watching from afar or couldn't make it tonight, but if you're watching a replay, Keith E., great to see when we do see you and hope that you are doing well while we do not see you. Cindy D, Lisa Fields, Music Girl, love you all. Sorry you couldn't make it tonight, but please watch and replay and have an excellent time. And Ken, I know you're out there, Ken, because I just talked to you. You say you like to watch without commenting, so I'm going to assume you're here, Ken. Although you may have had a commitment tonight, but either way, give Tree a kiss for me, and I'll see you guys real soon. And and I'm talking over the scores. Okay. Tug is 4 of 5. Watching Meet is 3 of 5. Tracy is 4 of 5. Mike is 3 of 5. David is 3 of 5. Steve is 1 of 5. Sean is 2 of 5. Dan is 4 of 5. Teb says A, which is the correct answer. Tom is 3 of 5. Lance is 3 for 6. That's cute trick because there are only 5 questions. Number one dude got 2. Gary Carpenter got 3 of 5. Teb is actually 5 of 5. Amazing scores tonight, by the way, guys. Indy Spout says 5 for 5, waiting for the hammer. Oh no, I didn't do Mike Hammer. I didn't do his series finale, but I'm bummed. Liz Javen says, "Hey, Lisa, Cindy, and Music Girl 67." And Lila says, "Daryl, was he on the Toy Story, or am I thinking of someone else?" That's a good question. Oh, that's Cliff Clavin. It's Cliff Clavin. And or the guy played Cliff Clavin. And Emily says, "I think I'm 2 for 5. We'll give it to you." And Zuplik says, "Let's get back to baseball." Well, let's get back to the trivia. So number 5. This biblical themed ditty was featured in the final episode of the BBC surreal sci fi cult classic, The Prisoner. Was it A, he got the whole world in his hands, B, Dem Bones, C, Man from Galilee, or D, This Little Light of Mine? And I'm sure I'm going to have to repeat that. This biblical themed ditty was featured in the final episode of the BBC surreal sci fi cult classic, The Prisoner. Was it A, he got the whole world in his hands, B, Dem Bones, C, Man from Galilee, or D, This Little Light of Mine? And the answers are all over the place. Although I do see the right one. But as you guys know, I'm a huge fan of The Prisoner. And but if you didn't see the final episode, then you're just making an educated guess. But number dude, I'ma let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna thank you, Sister Rosetta Stone. And Gary Carpenter says, never saw The Prisoner. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people didn't. It was one of the things where I can't even remember what station it was. When I was in college, there was this local station which used to play it. Was it TV Land? No, that's not right. But it was weird. I had gone to a sci-fi convention. You're gonna find that hard to believe. I had gone to a sci-fi convention at UMass Amherst, and every year they did a theme, and that year's theme was The Prisoner, and it was like Welcome to the Village and all that. And I had no idea what they were talking about. A friend of mine had to explain it to me, and I go, that sounds intriguing. I went home for that summer, and this TV channel is showing The Prisoner, so I kind of got hooked. Steve says Tharp. Yeah, that was a joke. Sister Rosetta Stone. Get it? But yes, of course, it was Sister Rosetta Tharp. And she was amazing. And she was amazing. Oh, Doug's like, what is the answer? I'm sorry. I was waiting for more responses. My sidetrack had a sidetrack. It was Dem Bones. B. The correct answer was B. When they bring in the young hip cat, it's like them bones and bones and raw bones and bones and bones and raw bones and the jury starts clapping along. It's an incredibly surreal scene. But moving on to number 4. In the series finale of Good Times, they all move to A, up to the east side, B, down to the west side, C, the suburbs, or D, into another housing project. I shall repeat. In the series finale of Good Times, they all move to A, up to the east side, or B, down to the west side, or C, the suburbs, or D, another housing project. Thank you for saying A, by the way, appreciate it. Is there a west? Actually, there is a west side of Chicago, but not an east side. Tracy, help me out here. Isn't East Chicago actually Lake Michigan? Because someone actually explained that to me. In that song, "The Night Chicago Died," Daddy was a cop on the east side of Chicago. They said there is no east side of Chicago. David says Gotham. Oh, Lynn says The Burbs with Tom Hanks. Oh, love it, love it. In any event, it was actually C, the suburbs. Yes, and it's weird. They actually end up moving. They get a duplex, and it just they find out that um oh, her best friend with the very young Janet Jackson as her adopted daughter just happened to move into the to the B unit on the other side of the duplex in crazy dynamite. That's right, number one dude. But again, great irony. But they really wanted to end on a high note, and high note they did end it on. Oh, number three in series finale of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the only station member not fired is whom? A. Mary, B. Lou, C. Murray, D. Ted. I shall repeat. In the series finale of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, the only station member not fired was whom? A. Mary, B. Lou, C. Murray, or D. Ted. And literally everyone got this one. I didn't bother. Yes. I think you crashed my show with that answer. Yes. Is that thing where first I think he's going to be fired, but then it turns out they misunderstood and he's the only one not being let go. But anyway, yes. So Ted or D is the correct answer there. Oh, I'm getting parched again. I have to steal more of Mrs. Thrash's libation. There we go. In the series finale of The Fugitive, we are told that Dr. Kimball gets to what? A. Beat the tar out of Lieutenant Gerard. B. Become a professional wrestler. C. Stop running. Or D. Get a new identity. I shall repeat. In the series finale of The Fugitive, we are told that Dr. Kimball gets to what? A. Beat the tar out of Lieutenant Gerard. B. Become a professional wrestler. C. Stop running. Or D. Get a new identity. And you guys all got this one down too. Yes, he actually shakes hands with Lieutenant Gerard. Well, I'll give you the answer. The answer is stop running. On September 5th, 1967, the running stopped. Yes. He actually shakes hands with Lieutenant Gerard, and you have to feel a little bad about Gerard. He was doing his job trying to find Kimball, but if you watch the show, he destroys his career. If he'd just taken the hit and moved forward, he probably would have, there would have been like one little black mark in his career that had been in. He destroys his career by not letting the whole Kimball situation go. It destroys his marriage. It destroys his relationship with his son, played by a very young Kurt Russell. He ruins his life with this albatross on his neck, this sort of Captain Ahab obsession with Kimball. And in the end, he's like, hey, bygones are bygones. I think the two of them should have teamed up and they could become a crime-fighting duo and gone on and solved mysteries, but that would have made a wacky follow-up series. But no, and as far as becoming a professional wrestler, that's actually the act doctor. Oh, I really should have made it a point of remembering his name for the purpose of this question. But the guy Kimball's based on actually did for a while become a professional wrestler. Dave says, "What do? What I do? What I do? What I do? What I do?" Oh, Daryl Jones says somebody blocked Dave. Who blocked who? Oh, Dave, but you're back in. God, I'm sorry if anybody got blocked. I'm terribly sorry. But anyway, I'm glad everyone's back. And sorry, I have an itch in this ear. But anyway, I'm glad everyone is back. And that is, as they say. Anyway, moving forward. The number one question is this color coordinated anthem is playing at the end of iconic anti hero TV series Breaking Bad's finale. Was it A, Crystal Blue Persuasion, B, Mr. Blue Sky, C, Behind Blue Eyes, or D, Baby Blue? I shall repeat. This color-coordinated anthem is playing at the end of the iconic anti-hero TV series Breaking Bad's finale. Is it A, Crystal Blue, blah, 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 blah. Is it A, Crystal Blue Persuasion, B, Mr. Blue Sky, C, Behind Blue Eyes, or D, Baby Blue? And you know what? That's a lot tougher than I thought. They're all perfectly applicable. Only one is right, but they're all perfectly applicable. Oh, Mike Silver's gonna go. Gotta go. Bye, guys. Mike, so glad you could make it. By the way, thank you for your support. Hope you had fun, and we'll see you very, 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 very soon. You know, I almost used that one. Blue, am I blue? Now he's gone and we're through. Am I blue? We'll say goodbye to Mike. Yeah, Mike, take care. Have a great night. Steve says, Alexa, what's the song that played at the end of Breaking Bad? The correct answer is D, Baby Blue. And of course, the reason it's blue, for those of you who didn't watch Breaking Bad, the meth that he makes because of an ingredient he uses turns into this really cool blue tint. Dan says, trivia, how did the TV series character David Banner / Hulk die in the 2-hour finale? I can't recall. I honestly don't recall. I'm going to guess car accident, because that's actually where the whole thing started, a drama over a car accident. And he's about says, to Hungry Jerk, and I've never drugged a watch show or watched I never watched a drug show or drugged a watch show. I had to reverse technology that one. Tracy says, My Blue Heaven. Actually, is when I was compiling other answers, it's astonishing how many songs have the word blue in them. Sean says, Dennis Hopper singing Blue Velvet. That's a good, I love that movie. Love to say good night. Daryl says good night to Mike. Oh, Tracy's 8 of 10. Oh, Liz Jamin says Hulk fell from a chopper. I did not know that. Roy's 4 for 10. Tug says, how do you kill Hulk? Good question. Gary is 8 for 10. Zubrix is 5 for 10. Sarah is L for OL. Dan says the Hulk fell from a helicopter. Very good. Wajimina is 7 for 10. Trace says Blue Moon. Mm-hmm. David says Hulk watches Oprah. Gary Cameron says he did. I don't remember that. Zach says Blue Monday. Blue Monday or Blue Moon on Monday by Duran Duran. I love that song. Video's kind of trippy too. Emma Miller says I'll be lucky if I got 4 of 10. Steve says there is a song named Blue. Yes, there is. It's like just Blue. Dale John says the Hulk was all a dream. Number 2 says Kryptonite. He then goes on to say 3V. Tug says 7 for 10. Excellent. Sean Ennis is 3 of 10. Tom is 4 for 5, so I'm going to double it. 8 for 10. Indy Spouts is 10 for 10. I've seen 8 of those. So, which 2 were guesses? Or did you know but just didn't see the actual show? Steve says David Banner wakes up with Ray Walston. Oh, yeah, My Favorite Martian. Yes, that's priceless. Priceless. Gary Cameron says life. Leanne Rhymes sings it. Oh, thank you. Number one granddaughter just got home. Zach says, I'm blue, da da dee, da da dee, da da da. Da da dee, da da da. Life goes on, bruh. Emma says, don't it make my brown eyes blue? That counts. Yeah, that counts. Um, Sean says, Lou Ferrigno pulls out a snow globe in bed with Suzanne Plachette. Love it. I absolutely love it. And it was just Blues Clues. Tug says, love this topic, Bob. Thank you. It's fun. It's fun when we stay on it. It's even fun when we go off it. That's the great thing about this topic. I love it. I love these shows, and I love the surreal nature of it. Joe Dunn says Blue Moon. Um, Number one dude says, is it New Moon on Monday? Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yes, 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 yes. You know, I was thinking of um Blue Moon Baby, done by the Cramps and others. Somehow I must have got my wires crossed. But yes, Blue Moon Baby, not Blue Moon on Monday. But thank you. Every now and then I get a wire crossed, and it's so great. You guys are always there to catch me when I fall. Thank you very much. And Tom says, "Isn't Blue Moon a bear?" It certainly is. It certainly is. Roy says Tippy Hedren was in the Birds. Emily says Blue Suede Shoes. It's that also has blue in the title. Sarah says, I have a purple moon right now. When the deep purple falls over sleepy garden walls. And Dan says, if David Banner changed into the Hulk and his clothes ripped off, how did he get new clothes if he didn't have jobs? Serious question, not a joke. He probably stole them like Spock and Shatner did when they went back in time to pre-war America. Tug says, Zach, that's stuck in my head now. Thanks. Danny says, I'm smoking some Purple Moon right now. Different type of Purple Moon. Yeah, Emily says, Dan, clotheslines. You see? And my flux says, me too, giggle. Roy says, my gibbous was waiting last night. Dan says, oh, yeah, okay, Emily. Yeah, the luck can be said for stealing. Gary Garber says, am I blue? Now he's gone and we're through. Am I blue? Number one dude says, little boy blue. Shana says, PRB, Pabst Blue Ribbon, which is also mentioned in Blue Velvet. Blank Heineken, Pabst Blue Ribbon. Hey, hey, Frank, you want me to pour the beer? No, I want you to it. My For some reason, when I was in college, we got fixated on that. And anytime somebody says, "Do you want me to do this with that? Do you want me to put this bottle on the counter?" No, I want you to blanket. We were very very immature. Still are in some cases. Dave says Attack of the Killer Tomatoes versus E.T. E.T. couldn't sing, so I'm going to say the tomatoes. Let's just see. Steve says Blue Bayou. Which version? I am going back someday. Tug mentions Blue Suede Shoes. Okay, this is to life. That's his favorite song, Blue Bayou. Excellent, excellent. So Blue says Dennis Hopper was wrong on so many levels. I've had Pabst Blue Ribbon. Sean says, "What kind of beer do you like, neighbor?" And he, of course, he likes Heineken, even though Laura Dern, who was supposed to be underage at the time, liked Bud. He's like, I love me Heineken. And Frank then goes blank, because that's his favorite word. Blank Heineken, Pabst Blue Ribbon. And that's where we came in. Neighbor. Hey, you want to go for a ride? No. No what? No, I don't. You don't want to what? Go for a ride. Go for a ride! That's a great suggestion. I butchered that line, but it's the best I can do on such short notice. Tug says, and on the subject of Elvis Blue Christmas as well. There you go. There you go. Tom says, love Narragansett. I now live in California. I've had Narragansett. They have a pretty good shandy. Oh, and Dan says, Steve corrected me, Roy. There is a Frank though in that movie, isn't there? I haven't seen the movie in years, so bear with me. But yeah, I believe you're right. It is Roy, but there is a Frank. Oh, Frank was played by dude from Quantum Leap, the very effeminate pimp and drug dealer. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you will. But anyway, Dan says trivia. What were the two buildings remaining in the finale of Little House on the Prairie? Don't know. My flux is 211, lol. It is about says Chicago is 15 miles wide and 25 miles tall. Therefore, its east side is roughly 7.5 wide by 25 miles tall. Don't confuse the east side of Chicago with east of Chicago. Thank you, Indy. You can add geography to one of your many talents. Zublik says, does your restaurant serve Hofbrau? No, we have Cape Cod Red, my favorite. Sam Sizzle, in this case, Oktoberfest. An IPA called Fiddlehead, Bud Light, and of course, Stella! Stella! And yes, I do that every single time. Netflix says blue cheese, yummy. David says blue cheese is great. It is. I love blue cheese sauce. I dip. I do. I take our rolls and our garlic rolls, and I dip them in blue cheese dressing. Well, I'm actually starting my diet tomorrow, so I won't be able to do that anymore. Salad dressing is the worst thing in the world for you. Tug says Heineken is far superior. PBR comes with Bud as the worst. Couldn't agree more. Number one dude says Frank Drebin. Frank Drebin. Thank you. That ring a bell. Blueberry Hill. But that's not blue. It's blueberry. That's a different kettle of fish. I see. Steve was saying Roy Orbison. I meant Blue Orbison. No, you were right. It was Roy Orbison. But who played the gangster? So the gangster was Frank? So what was the pimp's name? You got me all confused. You got me all befuddled. I'm all verklempt now. Len says, guys, see you on an hour. Okay, thank you, Thresh. Lance, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful, wonderful night. It's been my absolute pleasure. Steve says, Blue Orbison, what the heck am I typing? Have you been having Pabst Blue Ribbon tonight, by the way? Let's just see what we got going on here. Dan just jumped off the page. I'm going to try to catch up. Here it is. Answer, the little house and the church. Very good. I didn't know that. Oh, Len says, bye, all you thrashes. Thank you. Shauna says, nope, Hopper was Frank. Okay, I was right. Hopper was Frank. Dean Stockwell, thank you. Dean Stockwell, don't remember, but he drank to his. That's right. Here's to your. they did give him a name, and Frank was always saying how damn suave he was. Ziplik says you should try it to Pawns. I will. I'm not even sure what we're talking about, but I'll try it. Dave says Blue Ribbon beer. A lot of people saying goodbye to Lance. Oh no. My screen froze. Oh, hang on. There we go. Where was I? Okay, here we are. Gary Carpenter says, Arrivederci, adios, ciao. Come on in. Oh, Tom says, Blackthorn cider, best stuff out there. Tug says, which Animal House actor was in both the premiere and the finale of Quantum Leap? Ooh, I don't know. That's a great question, though. Indy says, the life and set ending, there's no crying over texts. Number dude says, Huggy Bear. Sean Indy says, Hopper was Frank Booth. Stockwell, Ben, because that was their toast. Here's to Ben. And then they make the kids say it, and that was very nice of you to Foot to the toast. I hope that didn't hurt. And then he wails him in the stomach. Little sociopath that he is. Oh, and he spells his D-Day. Is that correct? Sounds like a very good guess. Gary Cameron says, I like vodka and wine. Together? Ooh. Separately, perhaps. And Lulu says, I thought Frank Durbin was on Police Squad. Yes, thank you. Frank Durbin was the main character whose name eludes me for the moment because I'm tired. But yeah, him. He died recently. Who was also in Airplane as the doctor. And my beer of choice is Barks. It has bite, but a bump. Zubuk says R.I.P. to Ilya Kuryakin. I can't pronounce that name, but it's the Russian dude from Men from U.N.C.L.E. Yes, he just passed on. Very sad. Dan says the finale of Quantum Leap still has him leaping. The new Quantum Leap began by saying they are still trying to find Sam. Wow, it's been decades. Indy Spout says, what? No credit for D-Day. Tug says, sorry, Indy, I missed it when you said it. And, who was the name? What was the... I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna like start eating to my brain now. Well, the actor from Police Squad and Airplane and Forbidden Planet, and he did a couple episodes of MASH. And someone help me out here because it's starting to like eat into my brain. And Shauna says yes. Dave McCollum, yes, thank you very much. But I will never be able to pronounce his Russian name. Leslie Nielsen, super, thank you, Leslie Nielsen. For some reason, oh yeah, George Kennedy was in too, but no, Leslie Nielsen was the guy I couldn't think of to save my life, and I was such a fan of his too. Evan brings up a good point. Did Sam age while leaping? Oh, and Tug also says Leslie Nielsen. Indy Spell says Peter Graves. No, not Peter Graves. And Gary Carpenter says Sean, he was 90. Wow. Yes, Dave McCallum was. And Tim says, rest in peace, Senator Diane Feldman. She lived for 90 years old. What a courageous woman. Feinstein. He said Feldman, Feinstein. Senator, whatever your last name is, rest in peace. Shotgun says Superplex for the brain worm antidote. Thank you. Yes. Let's do that. And don't call me Shirley. Superplex says, is this a bust? Very impressive, but we're looking for somebody right now. Indy says, do you like gladiator movies? Do you know he didn't want to do that scene? He didn't want to do the movie at all. He says, I will be typecast as some type of pedo. And they go, it's a joke, and everyone who's going to watch this movie knows it's a joke, and it actually helped revitalize his career. But he was afraid of doing that part for just that reason. This is Tom says, please no Swinestein. Swinestein. Dave says O.J. Simpson 2 in the movie. He certainly was. And Dan says Shirley, and don't call me Shirley. Number dude says Corey Feldman versus Corey Haim. Who was the better actor? Feldman? I'm gonna have to give it to Feldman. And also Gary also says Feldman. He says Corey Stoll. And Tug says Haim was probably the better actor. Well, it's a free country. Although Tom's also says Corey Feldman. And number dude says Lucas, come on, LOL. Anyway, well, it's actually, I'm not going to wrap it up just yet, but I'm going to start wrapping it up because we're heading on the hour and a half mark. And as always, I have an early Monday. Mondays are always rough for me. Oh, while we're on the subject, by the way, no show tomorrow night. I am going to try to get some more content out, though. So I may have another content post tomorrow. I'm going to even try to get 2 posts out this week. I'm going to keep you in suspenders as to what those are, but be looking for more content. I'm going to try, much as I love doing these shows, I really got to keep putting some content on my channel. So, and in fact, if there's anything you guys want to see, now's a good time as any to let me know. And what I'm going to say to you folks in the comment section right now is please watch my post. For example, I know for a fact a lot of you haven't seen Alone Time yet. So please does. Tug says, I prefer to be out on my own limb, less chance of everybody weighing it down, but a bump. Indy's boat says, rats. With this crowd, I should have gone with Jeff Corey. Jeff Corey, there's an obscure reference. He was. I was just talking with somebody. He did an episode of Star Trek. The Cloud City people. Yeah. Steve says, that's a take, check the gate. That's a take, check the gate. That's a take, check the gate. Somebody told me that should be a reference to something, and I can't figure it out. What you mean says Feldman would stand by me, Haim, Lucas. I just for some reason Feldman always seemed more believable to me. I see under Lost Boys. Let's just see what's going on down here. Tug says, I just don't know what Corey Stoll had to do with anything. I think he was just being surreal. Gary Gabbard says, I wonder what Lucy would have thought about OJ and his chase. Tug says, loved him in The Stand. And Melissa's Tug, I'll have my own tree. My Flags Everywhere says, hit that like up and share. Thank you very much, Sarah. And Spot says, Corey Hart. Yeah. Corey Hart, I wear my sunglasses at night so I can watch you live and weave your storylines. Thank you for the link, Dan. I much appreciated. Dave says, Night Thrash, peace. Dave, thank you so much. Sorry you got timed out. Not sure exactly what happened. Did not authorize that. I think Lance was just, I don't know, heart in the right place. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Dave. Have a great night. We'll see you real soon. Zublik says, I prefer Professor Irwin. Corey. Dan says, I watched Alone Time after your post. Oh, yeah, I mean, I was complaining more that people didn't watch my post on Alone Time. You're welcome to actually watch the actual Alone Time post after my review, but please watch my review. That's the most important thing. I need the hits. Very selfish of me, I know. Steve says, Thrash, you need a viral video. I know. What I should do is I should throw myself down the stairs or something and then post that. Sean says, wearing my sunglasses. I should throw myself down the stairs wearing my sunglasses. And Sarah says, she's giving us a link. Thank you very much, Sarah. But yeah, I know, Indy. I'm trying so. Steve. I'm trying so hard to get a viral video. Steve says maybe recreate that Chippendales bit from SNL. I'd have a stroke. And besides, where am I going? They're both dead. I would have to find some hunk to play the other guy. Number dude says, I gotta wear shades. My future's so bright, I gotta wear shades. Boy, did things go downhill since that music video came out. Zibble says, Life, did you know Professor Corey lived past 100? I did not know that. Teb says, thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful Sunday night. Teb, thank you so much for just everything. Love the stuff you send me on Facebook. Love the stuff you send us here on my live chats. It's always great having you. Thanks again. Steve says, I need some alone time. Number two says, alone time is one of my favorite times. Shannon says, Indy, dude, you ever watch Future Man? I think it was called Guy from the Future Discovers Corey Hart. I think Hart appears in the series too. Gary Carpenter says, I'm alone 24/7. Oh, and Daryl says, everybody hit that like button. So Luke says, what you need, T-Pawns, are cats. Okay, if there's one thing I don't need is pets, particularly one that destroy furniture and hardwood floors. Indy's Bud says, Sean is afraid I missed it. Oh, Gary Gamer says, I have a couple strays that I feed. Emma says, I am never alone. I have cats. And if you're a cat people, that's great. I just pets I don't have. And Tug says you probably have toxoplasmosis too. It's always with you. You're probably right. The book says you have posted video, Gary. And Teb says R.I.P. Sir Michael Gambon. Oh yes, thank you for you let me know about that too on Facebook. I appreciate that. Gary Garber says, to Z, how would I post a video? All you need is a camera. All you need is a camera. When you go on YouTube, you can go live. Oh, Mrs. Thrash says hi to everyone, by the way. Um, yeah, that was how I did it first. When you actually attach a camera, YouTube gives you an option where you can go live, and then you can post that live content. Gary Carpenter, R.I.P. Professor Dumbledore, Emily says, Tug, haven't died yet, and I've had cats my whole life. Yes, even during all my pregnancies. Well, you just got to be really careful, that's all. Because just post it on your YouTube channel. Yeah, there, what he said. Steve says, here's an idea, the tragic life and sad ending of Harlan Ellison. That could work. He was just such a curmudgeon. You know, when a person's a mumser, not as many people care. It needs to be somebody that everybody went, oh, for. Now, people weren't happy that Harlan Ellison died, but it wasn't like, it's like, oh my God, he was such a warm and wonderful person. Wajamin says, hello. I'm assuming that's Mrs. Thrash. We've already said, yeah, number dude says, hi, Mrs. Thrash. Indy's Boat says, hi, Mrs. A lot of people having love for Mrs. Thrash. Isn't that she's a very lovable person? Gary Garber says, I don't have a YouTube account. Gary, this actually counts. If you actually can post on my comment channel, then that actually constitutes a YouTube account. Believe it or not, that's how I found that out. And Tug says it's harmless for adults. It might just make you like cats more. Actual scientists think it's a plausible explanation for crazy cat ladies. No. Gary Carver says, hey, Mrs. Thrash. Daryl Johnson says, hey, Mrs. Thrash. Shannon says, Emily, I was a good hubby during my brief marriage. I cleaned that nasty litter box while my ex was pregnant. Very solid of you, John. Very solid of you. Zublik says, it is easy to open one. I know I reposted a video, but it's no longer up. Crazy. Watchman says, Gary, the channel I watched with can be your channel. Ooh. Yeah, Gary, the channel watched with can be, yes. Exactly, yes, that's right. Steve says she should come on camera, permanently off camera. She's a very shy person, so she will be permanently on camera. But she on Sean, this is Mrs. Thrash with a heart. But yeah, she has no trouble like saying "Hey to all you gang," but won't do it on camera. Emily says, Tug, it's supposed to be a dangerous for pregnant ladies, but my kids are all fine. The fur and tails they had at birth were cute, though. Oh, Steve says, I don't think there is a Mrs. Thrash. Wouldn't that be creepy? Wouldn't that be if this whole time it turned out I wasn't married, I was just some crazy person? Yes, but then who's making all the noise in the background? Well, there's a whole family there too, by the way, so it could be any of them. Tug says, yeah, I did that too when my wife was preggers. The cat judged me terribly for it. Oh, look who's here. Michael's Drones and RCs is here. Says, hello, Thrash Pondo. Michaels, thank you so much for joining us. Dan, if you're still around, please give Michaels a link. Unfortunately, we're just about to close up shop for tonight, but Michael, I'm so glad you could make it. Thanks for joining us. And Gary Kevin says, oh, okay, T. Yeah, this channel should work fine. You have to have a camera, though, so that you have visual stuff to post. Indy Spout says, life and set ending. If he shouts out Vera, well, we'll know for sure. Or Blanche. Was it Blanche? Maris. If I bled out Maris from Frasier. Yeah, there were two wives that were never on camera. Tug says, Steve, maybe he has collective identity disorder. Maybe. Oh, and Sarah's giving us a link. Thank you so much. Michael says a little wedge. Emily says your ghosts, of course. Ooh, creepy. And John says, Tug, my ex-wife's cat actually preferred me over her. We get along well. Excellent, excellent. And your captain says she must have been a real witch. And Tug says, I think that cat was a lesbian. She hated me for taking attention away from my wife. She wanted her to herself. Cats can be possessive. Indy Spout says, thanks again for the trivia thread. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm glad you people appreciate the trivia game tonight. Emily says, not true, Gary. My cats love me. Of course they do. Steve says, Thrash is actually his own wife in a twisted Norman Bates way. Al. She, my wife's in the kitchen now laughing hysterically at the thought of that, by the way. Here, try this. Say hi, Mrs. Thrash. She's like hysterically laughing because she won't speak now because she wants you people to think that I'm insane. She's doing this. She's like, yeah. Simon says, do this. And you know what, guys? On that note, I think Insane Thrash is going to call it a night. So, yes, I'll leave it to you as to whether or not you think Mrs. Thrash exists. Some days I'm not sure. Some days I know what I'd prefer. Anyway, again, be watching for that new content this week. Try to have something up tomorrow, but at least by the middle of the week. So keep watching for it. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. You guys are the ones who really, really make this channel possible. Literally, because if it wasn't for you guys, it'd just be me here talking to this camera, trying to think of things to say to myself. But anyway, until next week, be good, be safe, be careful. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.